All right, folks, welcome to a surprise version of Between the Numbers. All right, this is your host, Rich Barris, the People's Pundit. All right, look, if you like the videos, don't forget to like them. You know the drill. Share them far and wide. I hope you're all having a great Saturday, and I'm actually sorry to bug you on your Saturday to do this out of the blue, but here we are. There was some news, so I'm looking at the polling, which we have to talk about a little bit, but I'm looking at the polling, and this news comes down, which is, of course, two service members and one what seems to be a civilian interpreter or something. We'll go to the president's statement here in a second. Were killed in Syria in an ISIS attack. And I'm looking at the polling, and I'm looking at, we're back up close to now 53, almost 52, 53% who are saying that Trump is dealing too much with foreign affairs. He's like too much of a foreign affairs president. Needs to be more of a domestic president. Well, now, I mean, you lost your first year agenda, so I don't know how they plan on doing that. But I do agree with Carl Higbee that I really think the only way Republicans would ever be able to turn this around at this point going into the midterms is if they do something so radical with their second year, which just doesn't happen. It's unprecedented. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just saying I know politicians. I've been in this game for a long time. They're worthless, spineless cowards, and they will avoid any controversial vote in an election year at any and all cost. They'll do everything in their power to avoid that. So I agree, though, with what Carl's saying, which is that, look, unless they do this, unless they come back and they act like this year is their first year, Republicans are cooked. And I agree with that. I do. Because here we have all of this disappointment and anger. And it's come down to the fact that it is Americans are over it. I don't want to get in too much into what I'm going to talk about next Saturday because I don't want to give a speech on Between the Numbers or Inside the Numbers that I tend to give at Turning Point on Saturday anyway, which is, I will just say this, folks. Americans have been lied to by every major institution that once held prestige and trust in their eyes. Some of those lies have been deadly lies, as I'll actually bring up in a little bit. I mean, COVID and everything. Their government told them that their duly elected president was a traitor who colluded with a foreign power when it never happened to steal the 2016 election. They framed a sitting president. There was an entire epidemic, let's just say at the very least, if not created for, but exploited for the purposes of removing said president for a guy then they lied about who was senile and apparently had cancer, even though they Jake Tapper's a great example of this. I mean, this is a guy who spearheaded that entire effort, and then he was the one who pretended like he was like shocked to find out Joe Biden was senile. I mean, guys, it's so absurd. It's hard to recap all of this. It's hard to go back and say, remember this? And it's just been building and building these huge lies. And American voters were watching through all of it. These disgusting, corrupt scumbags get rich, get richer, get more powerful off of the decline of the greatest country in the history of human civilization. It's like something out of an Ayn Rand novel or book. It's right out of Atlas Shrugged. I mean, and they are done, and this is why they elected Donald Trump. They're done with the performative politics shit. They're done with it. And it's sad because this is the exact kind of reason why you can get someone like a grifter like Candace Owens, who I warned everybody about years ago. That girl's a grifter. She is not real. She's not legit. That shit with Brexit that girl posted, man, that's hilarious because we all have known that. I have taken in my entire career one private jet, and that's because I was under subpoena and I got trapped in an expert testimony. I got trapped before Christmas. So a wealthy individual felt bad for me, and without me even asking, with his own money, coughed up like $30K, which apparently is cheap, to bring me from Arizona back home to North Carolina. I have never, ever, ever, and I've worked for senators, big corporations. I have never once asked anybody to fly me private. And that pariah, that friggin' what? I don't even know what you call her. That narcissist, that dripping like all about me narcissist, lying scumbag. That's what she did. That's who she is. That's why Turning Point couldn't stand her anymore. I'm sure they're going to bring a lot of this up on Monday. I really hope they do. I hope they just don't stick to the debunking. I hope they tell you all who she really is. This girl paying herself $250,000 and spending $80K a pop from a charity's fund to get private jets to fly all over the place. That's her. To the point where she runs the organization into the ground so badly, 2 years in a row, with the last year having an almost $2 million shortfall. I remember this. That Turning Point has to take the organization from her and fold it into their own records to get it back on its feet and help Republicans chase non-white votes. She ran it into the ground. She got rich doing it. She paid it, stuffed her pockets with your money. This is who she is. This is why she's not persona non grata, folks, because she's onto the Zionist conspiracy. You know I can't stand that Zionist shit. I'd tell you. That's not why she is. She's persona non grata because she is a Madonna and not worth it. Anywho, let's get back to this. Because, I mean, I'm going off the rails a little bit here. I want to stick to where we are. I'm just saying this because, again, we will be, Mark Mitchell and I will be on this together. And look, I mean, the job is to rally the troops, is it not? And to tell the truth in the process. The job is rally the troops, tell the truth. Well, you're going to get some truth. You're going to get some truth, whether you like it or not. Because this guy doing this to the American voter was like the biggest betrayal to so many of them. Like, et tu, Brute, et tu. I'm not kidding. Don't be surprised if you hear my little son running around. You doing all right over there, Booger? That's my little man. Yeah, well, for once, he finally does it. All right, let's run the Trump tape here, and we'll...
So we mourn the loss of
That's loud.
3 great patriots in Syria. You know how it happened. There was an ambush, terrible. We also have 3 wounded. They seem to be doing pretty well. But we mourn the loss. These are 3 great people. And it's just a terrible thing. Syria, by the way, was fighting along with us. The new president of Syria is, as they told me, and I'm not surprised, he's devastated by what happened. This was an ISIS attack on us and Syria. And again, we mourn the loss and we pray for them and their parents and their loved ones. Very, very sad.
Mr. President, will the U.S. retaliate against ISIS?
Yeah, we will.
And will the U.S. forces attack again?
We're going to be seeing.
And should the U.S. still be
We will retaliate. Thank you very much.
Woo, no, not again, please. Ouch. Mr. President, what the fuck are we doing in Syria? Let's rewind. April 2018. Then President Donald Trump drags, kicking and screaming, Mad Dog Mattis, H.R. McMaster, the lot of them, into the Situation Room. He's furious. Why? Because he wanted nothing to do with Syria. And he was wondering why on earth they had not obeyed his lawful command to end the regime change scheme in Syria that they were running before he was president and that he promised to get rid of. And I don't care what happens in Syria. I don't give a shit. Get out of the country. They don't listen. And Joe Kent, who now works for Tulsi Gabbard at DNI, Joe Kent's wife is killed in duty because they didn't carry out that lawful order. What happened to that guy? Oh, but rich circumstances have changed. Right, circumstances have changed. Do you know what they are? I wonder on whose behalf he's keeping forces in Syria in danger like this. Who could it be? I'm talking about Israel. Constant combat operations. The Middle East is a shithole. Get out of the Middle East. No, you know what? It's like I'm saying something radical here. Dude has completely abandoned America first, and you're looking at me with the crooked eye? He goes to Twitter, posts truth. Sorry. He goes to truth. We mourn the loss of 3 great American patriots in Syria. What made them patriots? What? 2 soldiers and 1 civilian interpreter. What made them patriots? I mean, the 2 of them are there doing their job. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Like, they're there doing their job. They have no choice. I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably, that's their soldiers. That's what soldiers do. You follow orders. And a civilian interpreter who's there making money because of an opportunity. 2 service members. Another one making money off of the blob. The forever wars and the military-industrial complex. Soldiers are heroes. The military-industrial complex, I don't know shit about the civilian interpreter. I don't know shit about them. They could be making $250K for a 3-month stint. I don't know about that. I don't know about them. By the way, one of our Afghan interpreters put two National Guardsmen in the ground not long ago. You forget? Or 1. The other one's at the hospital fighting for their lives still. Likewise, the last I heard. I could be wrong. I haven't followed up on it. Likewise, we pray for the 3 injured soldiers who, it has just been confirmed, are doing well. So 6 casualties. This was an ISIS attack against the U.S. and Syria in a very dangerous part of Syria that is not fully controlled by them. Translation. It appears that some special operators who are over there without your knowledge or permission, helping Israel put their puppet government in control so they can realize their dream of greater Israel. The president didn't tell you anything about this. More casualties in the Middle East, which we have absolutely zero interest in. I will say this again. We are an insular power. An insular power is a power that is defended by one or more sides by natural state so dominating it is almost impossible to invade them. We have the Atlantic Ocean on one side, the Pacific Ocean on the other, and we have two weak powers that are so-called friendly to the north and south. We should be more concerned about one of those borders with Mexico being controlled by a failed narco cartel state than whatever the fuck is going on in Syria. Let Pastor Hagee pray for that shit. We need jobs. We need to not collapse the debt on the heads of the children that we squandered their future and we squandered their inheritance. That's what we need to do. The president of Syria, Ahmed al-Shara, is extremely angry and disturbed by this attack. There will be very serious retaliation. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh, he's so angry. So angry. Let's roll up the sea. I mean, this is just fucking unserious at this point. I'm sorry. This is just fucking unserious. How many radical NGOs that radicalize beta losers like Tyler Robinson have been broken up since Charlie was gunned down in cold blood in publicly executed in front of everybody? How many of those NGOs have you busted up, Mr. President, since they gunned down your friend, your personal friend, my friend? You haven't done shit. Berkeley? They hold an event at Berkeley, and an organization that you designated a terrorist organization feels without fear of you that they could go and attack the kids at TPUSA and the attendees. You do nothing. What are we still doing in Syria? Who gives a shit? Do you see the Chinese, for all of you stupid people who don't even understand how the international state of anarchy works? Do you see the Chinese running all over the globe and dying all over the globe for their so-called allies? No, because the Chinese doesn't let anyone bleed them dry the way we let other countries, including our ally Israel, bleed us dry. This is such horse shit. This is just horse shit. It just is. It's such a disaster. Because, like, when it's your job to listen to people for a living, you start to get frustrated yourself by their frustrations. You start to feel bad for them. There's just nothing they can do. It doesn't matter who they elect, what side, it just doesn't matter. The system is broken and it doesn't work for them. The president has billionaires on his side, on both sides of him, whispering in his ear, telling him the economy's great and affordability is a hoax. And he's got neocon senators behind him, stabbing him in the back, and he doesn't even know it, along with Benjamin Netanyahu, who, by the way, was the first foreign leader to congratulate Joe Biden on his exploitation of the 2020 election. We'll use that nice word, exploitation, to throw out Donald Trump in what was the final act in a multi-part series of the coup against Trump. Unbelievable. But MTG's the traitor, right? Unbelievable. Just unreal. And I do know Marjorie. I don't know her well. Not here defending. I'm just saying, like, boy, your shit is all upside down. All right. I think I think that worth noting about this whole problem the right is having right now. I do think it's probably worth, if you haven't seen it, Matt Walsh's interview with Tucker. I don't fully agree with everything he said. However, I do think um that, just like Dr. Charles said on the political violence panel on human events with Posobiec we did on the 3-month anniversary last week of Charlie being killed, um the left is getting what they wanted. They're winning. They're absolutely winning. All right. Sorry, I didn't come on here to give you good news. I wish I did. Let me take a real quick break. All right, I got to do a read here. When we come back, we will talk about what's going on. This poll should have been out by now. Now I have to keep interviewing, and we're going to have to roll out in a 3-day. We're going to have to roll out responses and interviews that we conducted that we're not even going to be able to use because of my own personal philosophy. I don't think you can do an approval poll, guys, over a week, or like Gallup 22 days. That's not a legitimate. We've had this debate, asked and answered in this industry. You cannot do that. That is not a legitimate way to conduct a survey. So I'm going to have to spend more money. It's all right. And I'll tell you why, because this is what I expected. We talked about this a little bit after the 24 election. The industry wants to consolidate because they finally realized it was an easy point of criticism for me to say there are too many polls and not enough pollsters. But as the pollsters themselves start to fold into each other, and you have people like YouGov now buying from our marketplace, and then they disseminate it out to different organizations, the same data set. They're farming out the same data set. And those organizations are putting their own weights and spin on the data set, and it gives you the false impression that there are multiple polls being conducted. That's simply not true. All right. But at the same time, the industries, however you want to call it, like our vendors and our tools they're all consolidating too. And it's causing a real problem. I knew I was going to get caught up in it eventually, and I knew I was going to need to find a solution to this. But it appears as they did what they did without telling anyone. Myself and others have been caught up in it. I'm certainly not alone. I'm not the only one who uses this, but I'll tell you that in a second. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to have to take myself a little bit of a break here. All right. Look, what if those who were once called what if those, not named Candace, who were once called conspiracy theorists turned out to be right, at least about COVID, right? A new study by Korean doctors that claim COVID vaccines raise the risk of six cancers, including, by the way, just for your knowledge, lung, breast, prostate, and 3 others. Research analyzed health records of more than 8.4 million adults between 21 and 23, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, which is a respected scientific journal. The critics dismissed it, of course, like we've seen them do so many other times, the whole COVID and, vax situation. But the data raises concerns that the spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. This is something we've talked about in the past, by the way, quite a bit. Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create the ultimate spike detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. With natural ingredients like nattokinesia, dandelion root, it's your daily proactive defense from a man-made virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. Peter McCullough himself, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Head to twc.health/TPP. The link is in the description for you guys if you need it. twc.health/TPP. Or just go to twc.health and use the code TPP. All right. And you'll get the deal that we are giving. Whoops. Did not mean to bookmark that. Look at that cute little picture right there. Who's that healthy little man? Save 10%, get yourself some free shipping. It's a healthy guy up there. That was me 14 pounds 14 pounds ago, or maybe more like 11 at that time. 11 pounds ago, something like that. Overall, I've lost about, you fluctuate quite a bit, especially if you're a gym rat like me. But anywhere between 14 to 16 pounds. But now I'm putting back on because muscle weighs more than fat. So that's going to happen. And I wish it didn't. I'm just older now and I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. I don't want to get skinny. I want bulk. So there's not much I can do about it. Lean proteins, meal skips, meal replacements. As long as I get the protein, I don't care. But it's just not working out. You get older, you get in your 40s, and guys, you know what I'm talking about. The metabolism just isn't there anymore. I would be able to eat like 3 smash burgers, fall asleep, and wake up 5 pounds lighter, But that's just not who I am anymore. People get old and that's it. All right, let me see if I can actually show you what's going on here. So yesterday when I went to, all the links are still working. I don't want to show you personal information, but I may, no, I don't think I will. I think it's just going to do it. Yeah, it should be okay. Okay, so I use MarketSite for crosstabs. I love it. There are other solutions out there, but I feel like MarketSite is the best. I think their interactive crosstabs are the best in the business. They may not be the prettiest in the business, but they're not ugly. The charts I don't like. That's why I use Data Wrapper. But the crosstabs are the best in the business. The process of creating weight variables, the best in the business. We'll even give you the weight efficiency. So because I'm a big stickler, you cannot fall below a 95 weight efficiency. And some of the weighted versus unweighted data that you'll see out there from other pollsters, I don't even need to calculate it to know based on how much they weighted something like even gender, or education is a big one. I see people it's a heavy thumb on the scale in some circumstances. And give you an example. Let's say they only polled 12% who don't have a college degree, which happens quite a bit in this business for a lot of other pollsters. What they'll wind up doing is just like saying, well, I really want like 19. So they'll weight it from 12 to 19%, which by the way is already still too low. We know there are, or at least there have been in the Trump era with Trump on the ballot, there are more non-college voters now than there have been in recent years. So the days of like the 19% post-grad electorates are gone, right? In our polling, it's routinely only about 12 or 13%. Instead of because that's what you're doing. When you're weighting heavily like that, you're making bigger and bigger assumptions, just to put it in layman's terms. And I don't play that game. I don't do that. So I calculate what's called a weighting efficiency. And that is a percentage which tells you whether or not you are still within a confidence level. And to make it, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. If you fall below 95%, your weights are trash. Your entire result is going to be trash. I will give you a great example of who does this. We're going to name somebody. Atlas Intel. They do it, and they do it a lot. And that's why you see crazy results for their non-white samples. All right, they're just getting in there and reweighting and shaking it up. And I know, I've been in this business so long, I know every trick in the book. I knew it when I saw Quinnipiac do it with the Ohio presidential race back in 2020. Those were not two different polls. That was the same initial data set. They sprinkled a few more on that they went and collected, reweighted the data set, fell below 95 efficiency, got like a Biden +1, and Donald Trump went on to carry the state by 8 points. I can spot it a mile away. Nobody gets away with it. Well, they do until I see it and then call them out. The right move is to keep polling the way I just said and roll the average. That's the correct thing to do, but they don't do that. They'll get a few more, sprinkle it on, reweight it, and voila, it's a new poll. But your weighting efficiency sucks. So you'll see, for instance, like in Wisconsin, Donald Trump's winning 60-something% of the black vote. That's bullshit. As if I have to tell you. All right. Well, that's why I love MarketSite, and I'm just so partial to them. But look at what's going on. Dynata, which is a company that provides other stuff. All right. They supply a marketplace, one I've used before for online responses or to be able to connect with people for online interviews. And they've been folding everything in, and it's like a mass consolidation of this field. Well, they bought MarketSite a while back, which they are trying to fold into their Dynata dashboard. And this is what's going on. Watch. It's going again. It'll go again. It'll go again. And I don't want to click on it because it will automatically, there it goes. I'm not doing that. It's doing that. I've contacted them. They're well aware of it. So look, it's just doing it all by itself. I thought, oh my God, at first I thought, oh God, they're getting hacked. It's going to be a brute force attack. Oh no, this is not good. I'm so sorry because it's probably about me. Because we have suffered brute force attacks to our MarketSite. I wouldn't say account, but our links that we put out, public links. We have a different email associated. It's a public email. So when we create publicly visible links for you to view the interactive crosstabs, it separates it from the data set. All right. We have to do that because me being a public speaker, me being whatever you want to call it, and having people who troll and are enemies and don't like what I put out, they attack those links. And it happened, if you remember, during the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. Somebody acting on behalf of Ron DeSantis decided to brute force attack MarketSite to try to take our crosstab down. It was kind of funny because it was it was that week we released the Florida poll along with the national nomination poll, which, if for people who need a refresher, it showed Trump winning in Florida overwhelmingly, even against their own governor. He was getting crushed. And it showed that DeSantis would win Florida in a national general election. He would have won it, but he would not have won it by 13 points with the way that, by the way, Donald Trump went on to win Florida by 13 points. Go back and look. You'll see. It didn't matter if it was Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. Didn't matter. We polled them both. Didn't matter. 13, baby. So in any event, they tried to brute force take down MarketSite. And if you at that time would have typed in MarketSite into Google, you would have saw Big Data Poll's account as the #1 search engine result because they were spamming our thing so hard. So here you have this big company which so many pollsters use, and they get traffic. They fell on the search engine results in the tree, right? You have the tree below a company's search engine results. They fell below everything on our account. That's how bad that attack was. And then eventually, and probably locals, you probably remember that when all the links were down, they had to block us out of the system for a bit and then let us just get pummeled. And so their stuff could go back up. But in any event, I thought that's what was going on again. I was like, man, it's a brute force attack. Oh, no. But that's not what it is. When you go to their website, it will redirect to the parent company now that has bought them, which is Dynata. And they clearly have not figured out how they're going to make this work. And you can't sign into MarketSite. So as it stands right now, I can't even make a crosstab. I don't like the splayer and other things. I just don't like it. So I'd rather keep polling. We'll find out what's going to happen here. I can make an Alchemer one. The problem is it's the weights, guys. I am a stickler for my weight. There's a reason why I've been so accurate. I'm not changing it up now just to get a poll out. So I'm just not doing it. I have to have the ability to do what I want to do. Otherwise, we're freeze on hold for now. It will not be going on forever anyway, so this will get rectified. There are other people who are impacted by it, so hopefully that will be rectified sooner rather than later, but we don't know. So there's your update. Anyway, there has been another. I don't know that they're going to be able to. My issue is you guys to be able to share as much as I can, as much information. It's kind of my shtick, right? With you guys, and it has to be a UI and a software program that allows us to give you or the locals community, people who click on the link when they go to the press release, they have to have the ability to see everything we want them to see. And you would be surprised how many of these companies don't afford that. That's why you're always getting these like little 3-page shit PDF poll results, because so many don't really have that ability. And if you want one, you got to pay big bucks for it, which we do. So they don't want to, because they only want to be, they don't want to have to pay that kind of money all the time. They want to just pay to get something that they need when they get jobs. We don't do that. We pay a large annual fee, and it's on auto pay and rolls over and rolls and rolls and rolls. So that's the way we've always done it. So I'll have to make a decision here soon enough. There's a couple that I do like. There's a couple that I think I could make work, but I need to basically interview these people. That's where we're going to go. One I like a lot, and one I had somebody create me an entire thing for several years ago, because I was already thinking of something new and something better for you guys. And you remember when we started to release the maps with the locator pins and stuff, right? They had a better way to track that data for us. The problem, again, the major problem, was that you couldn't make all of that information public, which really sucks. And it really does suck, because their crosstabs are awesome. They're the prettiest crosstabs, I think, in the business. And also you get subgroup sampling errors. So if I wanted to, we can also show the difference between the sampling error for the survey is 1.9%. Plus or minus, the sampling error is plus or minus 1.9 or 2 or 1.7 for the entire survey. But I'm big on telling you guys the difference between that and sampling errors for subgroups, which can be considerably higher for smaller subgroups. And what's really cool about their tool is that they'll give you that interactively too, which is neat. So it's not just all clustered and stuffed onto the screen like a pain in the ass. It's cool. It's cool. But I don't know if enough has changed in order to be able to do that. Rich, if you had to say right now, how many seats are gone in the House? 15 to 18. And I think I'm being fairly conservative with that. I don't think we're going to see huge swings. Like these, like, you remember, God, 2010 was like 60. I just don't think we're ever going to see something like that. I do think we could see upwards of 30. I do. It's just that Republicans aren't terribly overextended the way that other parties have been. Even in 2018, Republicans were overextended. And so they wound up losing, peripheral races they should never have had to begin with. They had no business winning some of those districts. It was just that Trump drug them over. And then they started to lose they lost all the competitives. And then they lost a couple that nobody really saw coming. That always happens. There's always something that comes out of nowhere that nobody sees coming. That's why I'm saying like 15 to 18, because 15 I can see off the rip pretty easily. And another 3 depends on how much off The average swing in 25, we're going to get in 26. And what do I mean by that? 25 is an off-cycle year. Midterms will have higher turnout than some of the turnout we've been seeing in these other races. And in that respect, it should help buffer Republicans in some of these districts. Maybe not. Maybe that doesn't happen and they get schlonged by the big one, Owen. You know what I mean? Well, you don't know what I mean, but you know what I mean. And in that case, it's a wrap. Oh, this is that's interesting. So we'll get it. Oh, and by the way, real quick, before I move on to this next comment, we'll see. Oh, and as we get closer, we'll be able to tell. Oh, that was Crazed who said that, not Owen. As we get closer, Crazed, we'll be able to we'll have a much better idea how many seats. I mean, I can actually show you guys right now with if I just do the last 3 days, hold on. What do we got? Is it over 3,000? If it is, I'll show it to you. Oh, that's the political violence survey. What am I doing? I'm in the wrong thing. Bear with me 1 second. I just wanted to give you an idea of a generic ballot's going to look like. It'll be at least. Its sample was a little bit too Republican. I got to go and look and see where that's coming from. I'm going to say it's going to be at least D+3, a high of D+7. Let's see. With leaners, Republicans are losing the lean. Not by much, but they are losing the lean. Well, among likely voters, they're losing it more. Yeah, so among the registered voter electorate, it doesn't look that horrible. It's typically around 3 points, 4 points. It's just that likely voter, man, blows open. It's bad. You know what? Let's look at the independent margin in the generic ballot. And then we'll even apply the likely voter screening, and I'll show you. Because if it stays like this, even with redistricting, they're cooked, man. You just can't have independents swing this bad against you. You just can't. Hey, little buddy. Swoop, stay there. Camera's on. Stay there. What's up?
Can I print this?
Print it? Oof. You got to wait for data to be done, okay? Stay there. Don't go in front of the camera. You're not properly. Your hair's all disheveled. Oh, you want to download something is what you want to do. Nintendo Play, first place. No. Don't be tricky. Crawl back the other way. You got let Daddy read that. You can hit this button. You can download the PDF, but we'll be able to print it off later, okay? We'll have to email it to me and everything probably. All right, let's see what we got here. 816 independents. If I share this with you guys right now, let's see how they look. What do I got to do? Stop the screen over there? Yep. Okay. Let's take a look. Yeah, I got to retitle this because it's saying the wrong. Let's just call it. What would it be now? So technically it's the 7th through the. Okay, so that 12th, 11th through the 13th. That sucks. So it was we're going to filter out we're going to filter out anything from December 5th to December 11th. Okay. Filter. So this is going to be 11 through the 13. No, 11 to 12. 10 to 12. 10 to 12. No. Back up. Hold on, guys. I got to let them know I'm serious. I don't want you going in front. I don't want you going over here. The camera seems very wide. Stay here. Like right here. Don't go past this cord. Okay? Important. Look at me. Tell me you understand.
Yes.
Sit down. Have a seat. Good boy. It's important, baby. All right. All right. Let's do this. Ta-da! Cha-ching. Yeah, December 13th. Good. That means, so filtered. Gotcha. 816. Independent. Let's leave the certainty to vote. Let's leave that. Let's just look at all registered voters and you'll see what's going on with independents. I'm just curious. Plan to vote in person on election day is still number 1 for independents. Plan to vote early in person is number 2, but barely. 207 to 206 is very close, but basically it's tied. That says plan to vote early via absentee ballot by mail. You guys can't see that. Hold on. Let me make this bigger. That's the best I can do to make. That's as big as I can make it, guys. By drop-off location, which is voting early anyway, and then voting on election day, but you're still voting with an absentee ballot and you drop it off is about 8.5%. That's about what we have seen recently. About 8.5%. That's about right. Most independents will pick that they are. Most independents do get screened out, honestly, of primaries. Oh yeah, you guys don't know. We're polling the Democrat and Republican primaries. Oh, let's look at that too. Let's see. This is really bad news as of right now. Democratic participation. So if you live in a semi-closed or semi-open or just open state, and we know that because we know what state you're in, then you'll get asked whether you're going to participate or not. Otherwise, you'll be automatically excluded from this question. But in states where they can, independents can vote. We're seeing that they're voting in the Democratic primary by about 4 points more. It's not good. You want them amped and on your side very clearly. It looks like a lot of new voters too, by the way. This is one thing I did notice. That's a little bit too Harris. You think? It is. I mean, I don't think. We know it is. Right direction with independents, 22%. Not good. Trump's approval rating is disgusting among independents. That's absolutely disgusting. 33%. That's gross. And 57.7% disapprove. Oh my Lord. The only thing helping Republicans right now is that more people are identifying as Republicans. And geez, let's look at his issues. While we're here, let's just look, right? What's that? So is that what I really think it is? Yeah, it is. So 34.4% approval rating on the economy and jobs. Yeah, that's gross. A little bit better on immigration, though. Look at the strongly disapprove. I can tell you right now where that's coming from. People feel like the administration was right to come out swinging in the beginning. They needed to send a message and they needed to be heavy-handed. But now they just feel like there's no direction to what ICE is doing. They don't like the masks. I told you guys this a million times. Like, you look like fucking Darth Sith, like, sending around the shock troopers. Like, this is ridiculous. You have to take those damn masks off. You look terrible. Also, you're not telling the American people what even constitutes a crime. You're saying we're getting rid of the criminals. What constitutes a crime? Because people are hearing stories about like you just snagging people like out of the laundromat and shit, like and leaving the kid behind. Like this is maybe it's true, maybe it's not. It doesn't matter. That's what they're hearing. Look at inflation, cost of living. Oh my God. I'm going to double check because I'm tired. That is disgusting. 25.9% approval on inflation and cost of living. Jesus. The Russo-Ukrainian war, 24% or 24.6 it would be. So we'd be going up to 25 point. Yep. Really good. A quarter of independents approve of Trump's handling of the Russo-Ukrainian war. Israeli-Palestinian conflict, 27.5. Oh my God. These are very, very difficult numbers to recover from. Very difficult. He has a 50% strongly disapprove rating among independents on inflation and cost of living. And several other are close to 40. 40 on the economy, 36 on immigration border security, 38 on foreign policy, national security, 35 on crime and safety, 40 on the Russo-Ukrainian war, 36 on the Israeli-Palestinian. And this is because he's not doing what he said he was going to do. It's very simple. He could end that war right now. Don't sign the National Defense Authorization Act. Don't give Zelensky any money. You're keeping him alive. He's not agreeing to the peace deal because you're not forcing him to agree. This is not hard, and he fucking knows it. I have to curb my F-bombs with the kid here. He knows it. Again, don't get mad at me. 52 times on the campaign trail. 52 times at least, because that's how many we counted and verified. He said he would end that war in 24 hours. And we all knew what he meant. Not giving them any more money and tough shit, Zelensky. You can either take some of the country and rule over that and keep your head, or don't. This is not hard. He's getting played, dude. See how Lady Gramnesty holds up for you, Donald. Let's see how he holds up for you. You gave his buddy, you gave his like Saturday swing partner all the money in the world, even though you promised the voters you wouldn't do this. You're buying Lindsey Graham eye candy on his Saturday nights. That's what you're doing. And the Coke and the 8-balls that they get to share. The whiskey, the 8-balls, the tutus, the whips, the double-sided dilds. That's what you're doing. You're getting cucked, bro. Totally cucked. And look at you. Look at you. This is disgusting. I mean, really? Like, this is disgusting. And they got the audacity to go out and call people fake pollsters. Stay there. Make sure you don't go in front of the camera. You got the audacity to make sure you got the audacity to call people fake pollsters. Literally the best pollster in the Trump era, and I have no problem saying that out loud. I have always been not only the most accurate, but the most fair to Donald Trump and his coalition. And that comes hand in hand. Fairness and accuracy. There's nothing fake about it, dude. Your advisors suck. And nobody gives two shits about the stock market. Let me clue you in on something that Chris should have told you. Half the American workforce doesn't even have access to a workforce plan. Are you aware of that? 1/3 of them actively contributes to a market-based retirement plan from their employer. That's it. So nobody gives a shit about the stock market and how high it is, except for the billionaires sitting on either side of you telling you everything's going kosher dill. Believable. When are the fake pollsters going to realize the stock market's too high? When's the president going to realize Trump voters don't have robust stock portfolios? Not only Trump voters, most voters. We live in an oligarchy. That was something you were supposed to break up, remember? Among independents that are voting in the Republican primary, Unsure is in second place with 23%. Someone else is in third place with 11%. Marco, Nikki, Ron, they're all at the 6 to 7 range. Ted Cruz Ted Cruz, Israel's personal senator, is at 4%. Great job, Ted. Clap for Ted, son. Clap for Tel Aviv, Ted. Yay. Say, good job, Teddy.
Good job, Daddy.
Oh, you're a loser, Ted. You're an epic loser. No, you can't see, and they can't see you. Yeah, you see, you want to see real quick? So here's Ted Cruz. Does he look like he's doing good, son? Look like he's this tiny little green slice. Does that tell you he's doing good? No, right?
What does the purple slice?
Well, that's funny you mentioned that. That's Daddy's homeboy.
What does the purple?
That's Mr. JD.
What does the purple big slice mean?
The big slice? That's Mr. JD.
That means.
That's Mr. JD.
Did he do good?
That means Mr. JD is doing really, really well. He's doing, or at least he's doing the best anyway, right? And actually, if I go to all voters, so we're going to vote in the Republican primary in 28, Mr. JD goes even higher.
Let's vote JD.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I probably will, but don't tell anybody, okay? All right. That's our secret. I think honestly, I know Glenn Youngkin's coming in dead last here, but I have a feeling by the time we get to this point, Glenn Youngkin will end up having an argument. I really do. And I don't think that like it's going to resonate with everyone in a Republican primary, or at least enough to even win. But if the others completely fall on their face, they got to pick somebody, but he's textbook performative politics, but not with his record. He could clearly say, look, it's not my fault those losers lost. My approval rating was 54% in that electorate. 54%. I did the best I could do for Miss Winsome Sears. It's not my fault. Nobody liked her. But Governor, didn't you personally select her and make sure there was no primary? Details. No, Daddy will finish putting them up later. I need more black ones. I only have a few black ones. I need to keep putting the rest up. But I'm going to get more in. I was just about to buy him. He's asking me about the installation. All right. Let's see about Democrats. Democrats, I think they just have nowhere to go. They just don't know who to vote for. That's what it comes down to with Democrats. Gavin Newsom has been the de facto leader of the Democratic Party since Kamala Harris left the public eye, and yet he's only at 18%. Kalshi has Gavin Newsom far and away. What? Do you mind? I'm trying to do a show here.
And the W.
The G and the W?
No, not that one. The one at the bottom.
Oh, Gretchen Whitmer. Now, see, son, if Democrats were smart, more of them would be voting for Gretchen Whitmer because she actually has a lot more of a chance of actually winning a presidential election.
Oh, no. But is she not doing well?
She's not doing well right now. She's not. But we'll see how it goes. We'll keep tracking it. It could change. There's a long time. And then you have Josh Shapiro, too, who also would be dangerous. The problem is with Josh Shapiro, let's just call it how it is. He's not only a Jew, he's a faithful Jew who supports Israel. And in a Democratic primary, that's going to be very, very difficult to sell. The media just doesn't understand basic math and numbers in the Democratic primary. Gavin Newsom, until he gets someone like a James Clyburn to advocate for him and get him non-white support, particularly black Southern support, he has no chance. And unless the people on Kalshi know something I don't know, this is a great example of Kalshi not being, it's not just Kalshi. It's like everyone has been talking about how much more accurate betting markets are than polls. Well, not all polls. That's number one. And number two, you think bettors aren't dumb? Like, you think bettors are so dumb they're looking at like the RCP average now? They're not. They know that some polls are better than others, and they put their money on those things. But sometimes they buy media narratives. And media narrative right now is that Gavin Newsom is by far, the number one contender, and that's just horseshit. You are dealing with an electorate that is approximately 45% non-white, and the way that it's structured, it is designed to give Southern blacks a huge initial say, especially the new system. Gavin would get buried before he ever got back to California. And by the way, this is a funny tidbit. J.D. Vance is actually winning the Republican presidential primary in California by not only a larger margin, but with a larger share of the vote than Gavin Newsom is winning his own party's primary in his own state. Don't you dare draw on that. Don't you dare. No dice. No dice. And those are for my music books, so don't use them all. That was a gift from mommy. All right, so yeah, I mean, that's where independents are, though. I could tell you right now, Kamala Harris is beating Gavin Newsom like, I don't know, 37-20 or something like that in the overall. He's been the de facto leader of the party since she vanished from the public eye, and yet That's all he's been able to get. That is not a good sign. It's not a sign that he's a strong candidate at all. Kamala has been gone. Nobody thinks she's going to run again, at least not yet. So it's just not good. It's not good. All right, so here's where we're at. There's going to be a lot of independents always choose someone else third party, especially until you do the vote screen. And then there's going to be a lot of independents who this early will tell you they're undecided. But let's see initially what they pick and then where they're leaning. So right now, Democrats are plus 13 among independents on the generic ballot. That's not good. All right. Yes, there are a lot of undecideds, but you can already tell the way the wind is blowing. If you look at the leans, it's about even. Republicans edging out Democrats by a little bit. Looks like 5 interviews out of 238. Someone else, third party, a lot of these will just get screened out once we go to the likely voter. In fact, what is it? 13. Okay, let's do that actually. Let's take the first without going. Ooh, let's look at that actually first. Hold on. Cost of living, the economy, jobs, healthcare, number 3, not good. Immigration and border security is now fallen at a number 5. It is now taking a backseat to corruption and accountability. This is no bueno for the Trump administration and Republicans in general. This is Epstein telling you right now. This is Epstein. And the fact that everybody gets off. James Comey gets off. Now they're hearing stories. These pardons. This one gives contracts to her lover's wife. This is, I mean, shit's off the rails. I don't know what to tell you. Foreign policy and national security is number 7. And here's why. I mean, look at that majority who thinks that Trump is too focused on foreign affairs and he doesn't give a shit about them. You know, I mean, that's what it comes down to. I don't even want to go through some of those responses. It's going to depress me. I don't even want to do it. Let's see how they feel about aliens. A third of independents think that at least some of this stuff can be attributed to aliens visiting the planet. Only 29% say that it all can be explained by human activity. The biggest portion actually just doesn't know, 37%. So that does indicate that belief among independents is increasing. If you guys remember, it was in the 20s. Have you ever personally witnessed a UFO? Yes, I've personally witnessed UFOs, only 17%. But 22% say that they know someone who sincerely believes. That's interesting. They do believe extraterrestrial life exists elsewhere in the universe. And they think the government, 59%, think the government is hiding stuff. So that's interesting. I mean, this is just terrible. I guarantee they're going to lean to the Democrats. I guarantee it. We're going to have to. This is why I want to keep collecting anyway. Not much. So for the people out there who say the independents are packed with Democrats, not really. They're packed with a bunch of people who say they hate both parties. That's what they're packed with. That's what they're packed the most with anyway. It's pretty evenly split. 28-21 equally is 20. That's normal. And remember last week, it was just slightly favoring Republicans. Goes back and forth quite a bit. That's not going to have any data there. Ooh, 52 on the dot female, 48 male. That's about right. We'd have to go through. I mean, we always have the specific age of people. It's very black, though, the independent. That's what's going on. Figured it out. There it is. Thank you. Independent votes too black. That's what it is. But still, it's not going to be great. Third generation, not U.S. born, 3.4. Interesting. Let's see how not U.S. born votes in the You got me money? Would you give me money? That 50 cent right there. Give me that 50 cent. No, you can keep that.
Is that
Kidding.
mine?
Yeah, it's yours now. Put it in a safe place. Finders keepers, buddy. Finders key. Yeah, go put it in your bank, cutie. Let's go see how likely voters first before we do this. Whoop, cancel. Before we do this, let's see how the most likely voters are voting. And then we'll look at non-US born and see how they're voting on the generic ballot. I'm just curious. Wow, actually, that's not great. Oh, those are independents, right? Okay, I was gonna say that's not great. It's still better, but it's not great. Harris wins by a little less. Ouch. So that grows from 13 to a 15-point advantage for Democrats on the generic ballot. See? I mean, it's what I'm talking about. So that's not good. And Democrats edge out Republicans. Other way around with the undecideds. Oof, that's going to be ugly, guys. That's going to be ugly. Especially since there are twice as many Republicans than there are Democrats crossing over. What I mean is, if there's 6% of the Democrats voting Republican on the generic ballot, there's 12% of Democrats. 12% of Republicans voting for the Democrat. They're losing a lot of. It's quite a bit, if I remember correctly. It's quite a bit. Yes, but only if in the case and only as limited subject matter. Okay, I got to answer this. Hold on one second. This is important. So, would that include the defense talking to Candace Owens? It is covered by the gag. Okay. Well, they broke the gag order. Well, I had to consult some experts. You know what I mean? She's obviously talking to the defense, which is a violation of the gag order. Oh, it wouldn't. Oh, no. Never mind. I misunderstood. Oh, I see. Okay. This is so funny because the defense is the one who wanted the gag order. The defense is the one who wanted the gag order. At least that blanket gag order. The prosecution, we heard it the other day. The prosecution is only concerned, and Megyn Kelly did a good job explaining this because I remember I'm old enough. She did a good job explaining how witnesses can destroy their credibility and their usefulness if they're not covered by gag order sometimes. So they've rendered themselves totally useless for the prosecution. So that's what happened in the case of OJ. There was a woman who was a witness who was able to testify that she saw OJ pulling away from the scene, but she ran around talking to the media, ended up selling her story to the media, and just killed herself, discredited herself, because everyone would have just easily dismissed her now and said, look, all she cares about is making money. And she was a worthless witness. So the prosecution only cares in that respect. It's the defense who wants this blanketed, and they don't even want media in the courtroom. So they're the ones who are pushing for this damn gag order in Charlie's case, and they go and run and talk to Candace Owens. Obviously. Either that or Candace is just wholly fabricating something. And I went back and I looked at it, and I didn't believe that lip reader crap anyway, because I don't always believe that lip reader stuff. It's pseudoscience. It's a pseudoscience. But I'm not saying some people can't do that or aren't better at doing that. I've actually seen people quite good at it. But I went back and looked at it, and what Candace is saying they said is like not even close. I don't see it at all. Not to mention there's more content than what Candace is saying was discussed. There's a lot bigger of a conversation there. And she's like, oh, they were just talking about the transport, and you think this will happen again? A joke. Let's get back to it. All right, what were we doing here? Likelihood to vote. Okay, so the generic ballot lead for The generic ballot lead jumps higher. Oh my God. Look at right track, wrong track with independents. Oh my God. Oh, it's terrible. 44% strongly disapprove of Trump. Gonna get cooked. Gonna get cooked. Gonna get cooked, guys. I mean, that's it. Whoa! Well, there you go. I mean, it's even worse with the likely voters. I think Trump is full. Look at the word cloud. World problems, Trump, foreign issues, other country. Focused, making other country. Oh my God. Money, time, president, care, American, world problems, care. God. Ugh. Loaded. Ooh, look at that. Likely voters have seen more aliens. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the likely electorate, people. Whew. All right. Well, so there it is. I shall endeavor to fix this problem and come up with a solution here so we can get this thing done as this, because more responses will roll in tonight. More responses will roll in post church hours tomorrow. So we'll have to make sure that this is done. We're gonna have to roll off 1,000 interviews every day until this is fixed. So I very much hope that it is fixed very, very soon. I actually wanted to release this like days ago and then poll a separate new poll this weekend, but we're gonna have to fold it in because I can't release this. I mean, you saw it. You see where it is anyway. Somebody's going to say, oh, I had to show you live what's going on at market site because someone's going to be like, the generic ballot's really bad for the Republicans, so the People's Pundit's not releasing it. No, I would put it out. I don't give a crap about the Republicans. I could care less. But I can't do it even if I wanted to. All right. So with that in mind, I'll kick rocks. And I don't think I'm missing anything. Keep your eye on the prize. Don't forget, if you like the videos, to like them and share them far and wide. Of course, the best place to follow me. We're on everywhere, but the best place to follow us on Locals, peoplespundit.locals.com, peoplespundit.locals.com. Oh, and I'll be on Benny on Monday. That's right. Yeah. At 10:45. All right. Thanks to the Wellness Company for the heads up on the read. That was last minute. Glad I got you in. All right. See you in a little bit, Locals. I'll keep you guys posted on this problem and when I can fix it. Nothing but love for you. All the best. I'm out. That's the wrong graphic. There you go.